My name is Donald Pippin. I'm originally from the South, from Tennessee. Came to New York, went to the Juilliard School, fell in love with the theater, and that's what I've done for the past 50 years.
Conducting the Symphony Seattle, my good friend and conductor, Don Pippin.
Well, the first show that I was involved only as an assistant conductor, but it really got me hung up on Broadway, was Imola Deuce, followed by my first Broadway show, Oliver, which I was fortunate enough to win a Tony Award for. How about that, starting with your first show, a hit show, and an Emmy? You can't beat that for a start. Then there was 110 in the Shade, Harvey Schmidt and Tom Jones, that wonderful musical version of The Rainmaker. And of course, Ben Franklin in Paris, which was for Bob Preston, it did not do so well. But in that show, it was important because they brought in another composer to write new songs, and this began my association with that composer. And that composer is Jerry Herman, who is still I'm associated with and a dear friend, and have done so many of his shows at this point.
You charm the husk right off of the corn.
Of course, one of the big moments of theater for me was a chorus line. And I was with it from the beginning when everybody was only talking into a tape recorder and the script had not even been written. And as a matter of fact, at rehearsals, quite often you'd be running 3 hours of a show and there'd be 2 songs because no score had been written at that point. Marvin Hamlisch and Ed Clevan had not written the whole score. They were sort of finding out what to write as the show evolved, which is that's the backward way you do it. Usually you write the score and then you see the show. Not this time. You saw the show and then you wrote the score. It was kind of a fascinating thing. The way Maestro's Memoirs came about is I know so many wonderful, fun stories about the business and things that happen backstage and with the different stars and everything. And quite often at parties and things, I'll be telling some stories. And I kept hearing from everybody, you should write a book. You should write a book. Well, I'm not a book writer, so I didn't want to do it. But finally I thought, well, maybe I should. So I started writing a book. But as I was writing, I kept hearing all the music that went with the story that I was writing. And I thought, gee, I'd rather do this on stage and tell the story and show pictures of things and do music from the shows and tell the audience what was going on when we were doing that music and tell all the inside stories that way. I've really enjoyed doing what I love to do. How many people are you lucky enough to know what you want to do and you do it and you love every moment of it, and I'm still doing it. I love to take Broadway to symphony orchestras. I have several concerts. I use 4 singers, do all the great Broadway things with great symphony arrangements and orchestrations, and I love doing that. And you see the public being entertained. Love to entertain people, I think that's it.